Hello friends, today we are going to talk about the theorems. Especially today we are going to concentrate on Norton theorems, superposition theorem and maximum power transfer theorem. So previously we already saw what is Thevenin's theorem. Now we are going to consider the remaining theorems. Okay. Now dear student, we are going to see the Norton's theorem. As we already saw what is Thevenin's theorem, now we are going to talk about Norton's theorem. So see, here it is, Norton's theorem. It is same as Thevenin's theorem, but Thevenin's theorem was related to voltage source. Here it is related to current source. So it says, statement is same, that any two-terminal linear network containing sources of EMF and resistors can be replaced by an equivalent circuit consisting of constant current source in parallel with single resistor Rn. So here, as usual, the network is shown, and this network having two terminals A and B can be replaced by the current source, equivalent current source known as Norton current source, that is IN, in parallel with the resistance, here it is Rn parallel to IN. So in Thevenin's theorem it was a voltage source in series with RTh, but in this case understand that it is a current source IN in parallel with effective resistance Rn. So here we are going to see the actual network. So see, here we already saw the network. In case of Thevenin's theorem, we considered the same network in which there it was a voltage source along with resistances. There were two terminals and we are taking output across these terminals. So in that case, now same network we are using, but we are applying Norton's theorem to find out the equivalent current source. So that you should remember. So here, in this case, we can see that here we have already seen while studying Thevenin's theorem that in this network current IL, which we saw, is equal to V into R2 divided by R1 plus R2 divided by RL plus R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. That expression we already saw. Second important thing regarding to this circuit, when this current IL flows, what is the value of A and B, that also we determined, and that is VAB is equal to V into this V into R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into RL divided by RL plus R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. Now we are using the same network, so IL is known and VAB is known. Now when we are applying this Norton's theorem to this circuit to find out equivalent circuit, we are going to get, so here it is Norton's equivalent circuit, in which the voltage source will be replaced by a current source IN, and then equivalent resistance effective, that is when calculated, it will be in parallel with IN, that is Rn, and it will give some load current or load voltage. So here this is RL which we are connecting. So when current IL is passing through this, there will be a voltage between terminal A and B, that is VAB, that is ILRL. Now we have to prove that when we are considering Norton's equivalent circuit, do we get the same VAB as we got from this circuit and same current IL as we got from this circuit. If this equivalent circuit is giving same VAB at the output, after replacing current source and voltage source by current source and this resistance by equivalent parallel resistance, we have to check whether this circuit is also giving same IL and same VAB. Okay, so now we have to first find out As we already from this circuit we saw, this is VAB and this is IL, Now from equivalent circuit we are going to find out what is the value of VAB and RAB. So that procedure we are going to consider. So here, if two circuits are equivalent, then when RL is connected between the terminals AB, Norton's equivalent circuit must receive the same voltage as above, that we know. So now we have to find out the voltage between A and B. So to find that, we know that VAB is equal to I into R. But then here in this case equivalent circuit, the current I is IL and resistance is RL. Now we have to find out the value of IL and RL. But for that we must know the value of IN and we must know the value of RN. This is first step. So first we need to find out IN. So here we are finding the value of IN. So we are finding IN. So in order to find IN, the important thing is that we need to put a short across AB. So what is the value of IN? So for that we need to put a short across AB. So here when A and B is shorted, we shall get the value of current IN. So for that, first put short across AB. That is first thing. So now we know that in our original circuit we have this V voltage, then here it is resistance R1, here it is R2, and when we put short across this, whatever current flowing through this is IN. Now how we can find out this? So see, when these two resistances are series and we put short, so here we get IN is equal to input voltage V divided by R1, and that is nothing but the IN. It is simply because, see here, it is when this A and B is made short, the resistance between this terminal is 0. 0 parallel to any resistance, that is 0, that means the terminal AB is shorted, and only resistance remains in the circuit is R1, so IN is equal to V upon R1. So that is the first equation we got, that in this circuit we are going to get the current IN is exactly equal to V upon R1. So remember that whenever we are going to replace this battery by a current source, then that value of current source will be IN, that you note. Okay, now we need to find out, we got IN, this thing we got, that is equal to that we got. Now we want to find out what is the value of RN. So to find value of RN, to find value of RN, first thing we have to do that, remove the battery and replace it by internal resistance. So see, here we saw this is R1 in our earlier circuit, this is R2, and here it is a battery between this and this terminal. Now we have to disconnect the battery, okay, and put it short. Actually between these two terminals we have to connect the internal resistance of the battery, but in this case we are going to consider that is Ri is equal to 0 in this case. So here it is R1, here it is R2. So battery is shorted and replaced by 0 ohm resistance. Now what is the total resistance across terminal A and B? Okay, so that is nothing but the Norton's resistance Rn, and therefore R equivalent is nothing but it is Rn, and that is equal to these two parallel resistance, that is R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. So this is Norton's equivalent resistance, and if you find out that, we can put that value here. So by connecting the In, which is equal to V upon R1, and Rn, which we saw, that is R equivalent is equal to R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. So now equivalent circuit can be drawn like this. Here it is the current source, that is In, that is equal to V upon R1. This is a effective current source. Then it will be in parallel with the resistance Rn, and that Rn is given by R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2, and these are the terminals across which we are going to connect the load resistance. So this is Norton's equivalent circuit. Now we got that the current given by this circuit is In. Now we have to find out the value of voltage between VAB. So in order to get that, we need to connect the load resistance, that is RL. So we are connecting this load resistance RL, and these are the terminals across which we are going to see. So now we know that what will be voltage VAB. So VAB is across RL. So some part of current, that is IL, is flowing through RL. So VAB is equal to IN into Rn times RL divided by Rn plus RL. That is from current divider theorem that we know. We already saw it. So here, but we know the value of In also, and we know the value of Rn also. So if we put that value, we know that In is equal to what? In is equal to V upon R1, and Rn that we already saw, that is R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this way, putting that values, we get VAB is equal to V divided by R1, that is In, into V times, here it is the value of Rn, that is R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 into RL divided by R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 plus RL. So this is, or we can say it is nothing but VAB is equal to E times R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into RL divided by R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 plus RL. And we know that whatever value of this VAB we have got, that we already saw the same value in network while considering the Thevenin's theorem, and proves that the VAB which we are getting across load resistance using Norton's equivalent circuit is same as whatever voltage we got in an original network. So this proves that the Norton's theorem. Now we are going to consider how in practical problem the circuit can be Nortonized. So here we are going to see Nortonize given circuit. Here see, we are given one circuit, that is, this is voltage source V is equal to 10 volt, which is connected to say resistance R1, that is equal to 4 ohm. Another resistance which is connected, that is, let us consider R2, that is equal to 6 ohm, and we are taking output between terminal A, B, where we are going to connect the load resistance. To this circuit, the load resistance which we are connecting RL is equal to 5 ohm. Now here, to Nortonize the circuit, the first step which we should consider is step first, that is disconnect RL. And short terminals A, B. So now here we can see, in this case, if we short it, we are going to disconnect RL, okay, and we are going to short the terminal AB. So what is going to happen? Due to this voltage, some current will flow here, part of the current will flow through this and part of the current will flow through this. But between A and B, the resistance is 0, so 0 parallel to 0. Therefore, we have short circuit current ISC is equal to 10 volt divided by 4, and that is equal to 2.5 ampere. But remember that the short circuit current which we have got is nothing but the Norton's current. So we can say that is ISC is equal to IN, that is equal to 2.5 ampere. This way we can find out the value of current in the current source. Okay. Step second. Now we have to find out internal resistance. So second, for internal resistance, instead of say internal resistance, Norton's resistance. What we have to do, remove short from AB. First is that remove short from AB. So here, for calculating current ISC, we shorted it. So now we have to remove it, remove short from AB. Okay. Second, remove battery and replace it by internal resistance. So remove this battery and replace it by its internal resistance. But in this case, we are considering internal resistance of the battery is 0. So we are directly shorting it, and obviously the resistance is 0 ohm. So here now we got AB terminal to which resistance of 6 ohm and 4 ohm is connected. Now we have to find out R equivalent between A. So RAB is nothing but R equivalent of this parallel resistance is nothing but Norton's resistance Rn, and that is here due to parallel combination it is 4 multiplied by 6 divided by 4 plus 6, and that is equal to 2.4 ohm. So now here we have got the current, here we have got the current source value IN is equal to 2.5 and Norton's resistance value 2.4 ohm. So we can draw equivalent circuit, that is, this is a current source with IN. This is parallel resistance, it is called as a Norton's resistance, RN. This RN is equal to 2.4 ohm. IN is equal to 2.5 ampere, and this is terminal AB. So now this circuit which we see, it is Norton equivalent circuit of the network which we considered in this problem, and both are giving same IL and VL at the output. So this way any network can be Nortonized. Okay, thank you very much. So in this case we can find out the current IL. So now let us consider, to this circuit we are connecting the load resistance RL through which current IL is flowing. So here we know that IL is equal to 5 ohm, we already considered in our circuit. So therefore IL is equal to IN times RN divided by RN plus RL. It is again from current divider theorem. So we got, that is, we get 2.5 into 2.4 divided by 2.4 plus 5, and that value of IL is equal to 0.81 ampere. So in this way we saw how to find out IN, how to find out RN. So again we saw how to calculate current IL. So from IL and RL we can find out what is VAB. So that's all. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So we are going to consider the first theorem, that is a superposition theorem. So see here, it is clear that superposition theorem states that in a linear bilateral network, if there are number of voltage and current sources acting simultaneously, then the current through or voltage across any element is equal to the algebraic sum of the currents or voltages produced independently by each source. So try to understand what does it mean. See, here we see the circuit. Now in this circuit it is shown that this is one voltage source and this is another voltage source. That means there are more than one voltage sources and there are several resistances. Now if you want to find out the current or voltage across any resistors, let us consider, we are going to consider the voltage between point B and E. So in this case, superposition means battery E1 will give, due to battery E1 there will be certain voltage across BE. Similarly, second battery is also present, so some voltage will appear due to battery E2, and that is a concept of superposition theorem. So see here, if there are number of voltage and current sources acting simultaneously, that means these two voltage sources are acting simultaneously in the circuit on each resistance, then the current through or voltage across any element is equal to algebraic sum of the currents or voltages produced independently by each source. So concept is this: how much voltage will be there across this resistance, then consider as if E2 is absent and only E1 is present in the circuit. So whatever voltage will appear due to E1 plus second time we are going to consider E1 is absent and only E2 is present. So due to that some voltage will appear. So total voltage will be addition of the two independent voltages due to battery E1 and battery E2. That is basically a superposition theorem. Same case is with current also. So now let us consider the voltage which is appearing between terminal B and E according to Kirchhoff's voltage law. So what things are given, let us consider first. In this circuit, this is battery E1, this is point A, between A and B resistance is R1 and current I1 is flowing through it. Between point B and C, resistance R2 is there. Between C and D, second battery, that is E2 is there. Between B and E, there it is a resistance R3, which is common to battery E1 also and which is common to battery E2 also. So here see, in this case, the direction of current is conventional, that is clockwise. So from this I1 is flowing from A to B, B to C. Similarly, in this case, though conventional direction of current is clockwise, but here battery positive here, so actual in this circuit the current is flowing from positive to C, that current is I2, it is flowing to B and that I2 is also flowing through R3. So in R3 the total current will be I1, this plus I2. So that is what basically a superposition theorem. Now we'll analyze it using Kirchhoff's law, and later on we are going to apply the superposition theorem, in which we are going to see the effect of one battery at a time, and then we'll try to match it. Okay, so let us consider first the loop A, B, E, F, A. So when we are going to consider, that is loop A, B, E, F, A. So in this we can see we are trying to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law, that this battery potential E1 is equal to I1 R1 plus here B and E, what will be that? That is R3 into I1 plus I2. So from this, applying from this we are getting, that is I1 R1 plus I1 plus I2 into R3 is equal to E1. So this expression we have got from this loop. So here we can say that here it is I1 R3 plus I2 R3. So we can say, write like this, that is I1 into R1 plus R3, I1 R1 plus this I1 into R3 plus I2 R3 is equal to E1. So this is expression number 1 which we have got by applying KVL to ABEFA. Similarly, we are going to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to loop C, B, E, D, C. So here it is C, B, E, D, C. So here applied voltage is E2 is equal to I2 R2 plus R3 into I1 plus I2. So here we are getting, that is I2 R2 plus I1 plus I2 into R3 is equal to E2. And similarly again here it is I2 R2, and here we are getting I1 R3 and I2 R3, so we can say that is I1 R3 plus I2 into R2 plus R3, that is equal to E2. So this is second expression. Now you see here we have got two equations. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now we have to find out the values of I1 and I2. That is most important thing. So here you see that I1 is multiplied by R1 plus R3, and here it is I2 R3. So if we multiply equation 1 so multiply equation 1 by R2 plus R3 and equation 2 by R3. So if we multiply and subtracting one from another and subtracting equation 1 and equation 2, we get that is I1 is equal to E1 R2 plus R3 minus E2 R3 divided by R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R3 R2. This is equation 3. So here we have got equation value of I1. Okay. So similarly multiplying equation 1, now to find I2, equation 1 will be multiplied by R3, equation 1 by R3 and 2 equation 2 by R1 plus R3. So we get I2 is equal to E1, we get I2 is equal to R1 plus R3 into E2 minus R3 E1 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. So this is equation 4. So here we got the value of I1 and I2. Adding equation 3 and 4, we get the value, that is I1 plus I2 is equal to E1 R1 plus R2 R1 E2 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. So this is equation 5. So remember that using Kirchhoff's voltage law, we got the current passing through this resistance, it is I1 plus I2, and we have to confirm it that using superposition theorem, that means analyzing this circuit by superposition theorem, do we get the same amount of current flowing through the resistance R3, that we have to check. Now let us analyze the same circuit using superposition theorem. So now, according to superposition theorem, what we saw is that the current passing through this resistance is due to both batteries E1 and E2. Now for analysis, first thing we have to do that we have to disconnect the battery E2, which we have disconnected, and put a short across this. Okay, this is D terminal. Okay, and now we are first considering what current is flowing through this single battery E1 through this resistance, that we have to consider. Now we already saw the Kirchhoff's Ohm's, we know Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's voltage law and current law. So from this point of view, see here it is. Now due to this battery E1, the current shown is, that is from A to B, that is I1 dash plus I2 dash, passes through resistance R1. At this junction, current I1 dash flows through R3 and current I2 dash flows through R2. So we know that this R2 and R3 are parallel. So therefore, resistance between B and D, that means these two resistances are parallel. So that resistance we can see, that is Rx is equal to R2 R3 divided by R2 plus R3. But here we see this is Rx, but Rx is in series with R1. So therefore total resistance in the circuit, that is RT is equal to this R1 plus this, that is R1 plus R2 R3 divided by R2 plus R3. And so from this we can find out the current. So we know voltage, we know total resistance in the circuit, and we know the current. So current in the circuit, that we know the total current is I1 dash plus I2 dash. We have considered total current I1 dash plus I2 dash square. So that is equal to, we know that I is equal to V upon R. but instead applied voltage is shown here, that is E1 divided by the total resistance in the circuit. It is R1 plus R2 R3 divided by R2 plus R3, and that is equal to R2 plus R3 into E1 divided by R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R2 R3. Okay. So this is what the total current. But look here, we have got I1 dash plus I2, that is a total current in the circuit. But if you look at the circuit, the total current entering here, which comes to this point. Now what is happening here? Current I2 dash is flowing through R2 and I1 dash is flowing through R3. But one thing is important that we know, if there are two resistances which are parallel, then voltage across them between A and B both are same. That means whatever I into R through this resistance, the same is I into R through this resistance. So the product will be same, that is V, and that is equal to V. So therefore I1 R3, that is a voltage, that is exactly equal to I2 dash R2. Okay, but whatever voltage appears here, it is due to current I1 dash and I2 dash, and therefore when I1 dash I2 dash into parallel resistance of these, so all are same. So we can say that is here as R2 parallel to R3, we can write that is I1 dash R3 is equal to I2 dash R2 is exactly equal to I1 dash plus I2 dash into parallel combination, that is R2 R3 divided by R2 plus R3. So that we got it. So we already got the value of I1 dash plus I2 dash, that is in equation 6 that we already saw. I1 dash plus I2 dash is equal to this. So now we are going to put this value here. So we are going to get, that is I1 dash R3 is equal to I2 dash R2, that is equal to this I1 putting this value, that is R2 plus R3 into E1 divided by R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R2 R3 multiplied by this term R2 R3 divided by R2 plus R3, and from this we get I1 dash is equal to R2 E1 divided by R1 R2 plus R1 R3 plus R2 R3 and we get I2 dash because of we are going to compare. Remember that we are going to compare with this value with I1 dash R3 also. From that we are going to get I1 dash, and here it is I2 dash. So I2 dash is equal to R1 E1 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. So we got the value of I1 dash and I2 dash. So here we got I1 dash and I2 dash when only E1 voltage source was present and E2 was absent. Now we are going to consider that E2 is present and E1 is absent. So in this case, look at the structure that current I1 double dash plus I2 double dash is total current. So here I2 dash double dash is flowing through R1 and I1 double dash is flowing through R3. So that you should remember. Okay, so same kind of procedure we are going to adopt. So here it is I1 double dash plus I2 double dash is equal to, here as in previous case, this divided by total resistance. So total resistance is how much it is? R2 plus parallel combination of R1 and R3, that is R2 plus R1 R3 divided by R1 plus R3. So that gives us R1 plus R3 into E2 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. So this is equation 8. So here we got the total current is I1 double dash plus I2 double dash. So again we know that R1 and R3 are in parallel combination. So potential difference across R1. So here it is, see here it is. This is R1 and R3 are parallel. So whatever voltage across this resistance, the same voltage will be across this resistance. So potential drop across this is exactly equal to potential drop across this and is equal to the total potential I1 dash plus I2 dash into parallel combination of resistance. So we can, as in case of previous case, we can write that is I1 double dash R3 is exactly equal to I2 double dash R1 is equal to I1 double dash plus I2 double dash into parallel combination of resistance, that is R1 R3 upon R1 plus R3, that is expression 9. So similarly, so here substituting the value of I1 double dash plus I2 double dash from this equation 8, we already saw I1 double dash plus I2 double dash is equal to this. So substituting this, we get I1 double dash R3 is equal to I2 double dash R1 is equal to R1 plus R3 into E2 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R3 R1 multiplied by this term, that is R1 R3 upon R1 plus R3, and from this we get I1 double dash is equal to E2 R1 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3, and I2 double dash is equal to E2 R3 divided by similar R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. So that we have got. Now look, in our original circuit, the current here you see. So here we are having current in R3 is I1 plus I2. Now in this case here it is I1 dash, and in this case it is I1 double dash. So if we add these two, I1 dash, sorry, this is here it is, we have already calculated I1 dash and I1 double dash. So here vector sum, that is I1 dash plus I1 double dash. Here it is I1 double dash we have already calculated, and in earlier case we saw I1 dash. Here it is. So by adding, if you simply add it, you will get the value that is exactly equal to R1 E2 plus R2 E1 divided by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R1 R3. So this current which we have got, it exactly matches with the current which we saw in case of using Kirchhoff's voltage law. When we applied Kirchhoff's voltage law, the same current we have got, and this proves that in both cases the same amount of current we got it, and this proves the super